How's it going, y'all? Wallamoose here, and today I received back my PSA submission. We got 7 cards here. I sent them back in January, and it was my first ever one, so these are rough. I learned a lot of very valuable lessons, and this video is going to be me relaying those lessons to you, so you don't make the same mistakes I did. Let's jump into it and I'll show you what grades I got. So PSA did recently change their guidelines to make it a little bit harder to get a 10. The centering has to be more precise, and I think that's partially a reason why I got a clean sweep of 9s, but I still expected at least a few more 10s. One thing I did not do going into this submission, because I didn't really think it was that important, was clean my cards and do a little what they call pre-grading. Now, I have since sent another submission to PSA where I did do the pre-grading, and I'm hoping to have more favorable results, but I'll know that in like 2 months. It's gonna be a while. Now, I'm going to link in the description below the cleaning kit that I would recommend, as well as the centering tool where you can make sure your cards are properly centered. And just doing those 2 things alone will put you way ahead of where I was when I submitted these. I didn't even clean them. I didn't wipe them off. And I can actually see in one of my submissions a little white speck at the bottom that I don't think is on the card. I think it's like a little piece of fuzz that they took for, yeah, this one right here. So I think me not cleaning this card kept it from getting a 10, because PSA they grade it as is. So you want to make sure that your condition is as perfect as possible sending it in. You want to also make sure that you abide by their rules, and their rules are put your cards in a penny sleeve, and that penny sleeve inside of a card saver, not a top loader. I did do that. But one thing I didn't do was make sure all of my cards were out of the cellophane wrapping. So I submitted the promo Charmander. Let me find it. Yeah. I submitted the promo Charmander card, but when I submitted it, I put it inside the cellophane wrapping, or I just kept it inside the wrapping. And they emailed me and said that was not allowed because it would be graded as a sealed product, not a card. So fortunately, I just requested them to open the cellophane and grade the card. But I have seen on their website sometimes they charge for that, or charge for edits after the fact, after they receive it. So just make sure if you submit a promo card that's out of the wrapping. You also just want to take a look at your cards and make sure they're 10 worthy. And this would be looking at the back corners to make sure there's no white spots, looking at the front corners to make sure there's no fraying, looking at the surface of the card, making sure there's no scratches. Sometimes when you're opening packs and you slide them, it can scratch the surface, and that does go into your grading and affect your ability to get a 10. And if you find a card that does have white specks or scratches that may prevent it from getting that 10 grade, I would consider maybe not sending it in, because nowadays PSA 9s sell for about the same as the raw version of that card. And then if you get like 8, 7, it just decreases the value, where the raw is actually more expensive. And I think sending these cards in where they're $25 per card, having them all come back at 9, which is basically valued at them being raw, I actually lost quite a bit of money doing this. But as a recap, a good way to ensure that you can get some 10s are make sure there's no white spots, make sure there's no scratches on the surface, use a centering tool to make sure your cards are centered within the guidelines that PSA now has, and also get a cleaning kit, which again, I'll link everything in the description below for some good recommended ones. And if you'll do all that and take really good care in submitting your cards, you should have some 10s in your future. So good luck, and I hope this video helped, and I hope it saved you some money as well as hopefully made you some money.